Now, welcome back to the programme. A lot of texts and comments coming in. A text in from Maura. I'm a bit confused, Maura. Damien, how come you don't read any texts relating to the council? Just curious, that's all from Maura. I do, Maura. I certainly read out texts relating to the council, and if it's council matter, so text me in what you're going to text me in, if that's okay, and I'll have a look at it and see. Obviously, some texts I can read out, some texts I can't, some texts that I miss out on, others that I try to get as many in as possible, because that's very, very important for the programme. Now, in studio, we have Kit Brennan. Is that right, Kit?
Correct, yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
You didn't have too far to come.
No, just up the road.
Up the road from the Dunmore Road, yes. Farmley. And on the line, we should have Kathleen Stone. Good morning, Kathleen.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good to talk to you. I'll talk to you in a second, Kathleen. I'm going to talk to first Kit. You can hear Kit as we chat away. We've been talking about the Stoma Clinic in the hospital for patients, Kit.
Yes.
What is a Stoma Clinic, for example?
Well, I have it written down here. Why do we need a Stoma Care department? To talk to patients post-op, to teach them afterwards how to, after the surgery, to manage their appliances, and then to follow them up 24 hours later to check that they're getting on okay at home, and always be available to them. That's how I used to work years ago, but I don't think they're always available here. But I had occasion to visit the Stoma Care clinic the other day, and she was a lovely girl, Mary McDonald. And I had a problem that she thought she would need Professor Coke to come up and talk to me. He came up and we talked to each other. You need it for people to put their minds at rest, because it is a very frightening experience to all these people. So, yeah.
You have you can put on the headphones there now in a second. You can take those and put them on in a second. I was going to talk to Kathleen. Yeah. Just before I do that, you have a stoma bag since 1974, is it?
Yes, yes.
And you trained as a stoma nurse after your experience.
Yeah.
How are you now?
Now, funnily enough, after 47 years, I've never had a problem until now. And later on today, I'm going to see Professor Cook, because I don't know what it is, and I used to be a stoma therapist, and I've never seen this before. So that's how I am today.
Kathleen Stone, good morning.
Morning.
Kathleen, ongoing issues with your sister, I think it was, wasn't it? You were on to us before, and we spoke about the idea of the Stoma Clinic not being available at certain times and being closed. And we raised it on the programme, and Mary Butler, the TD, said she got in touch with the hospital management and they said it was going to reopen and all those things. What's the situation now as far as you know?
Well, my sister Caroline was with Mr. Peter McCullough yesterday about her new surgery to come, and she didn't get to meet Mary McDonald, and she asked was the clinic going to reopen, and he said that there was pressure on for it and that it wasn't opened at the moment.
So it's not open at present?
No, it's not open at present. Now, my sister met Peter McCullough, a great man. He took her over from Mr. Manning, and himself and Mary McDonald have been wonderful to her, absolutely wonderful. But she's without her clinic. Now, she won't see any of those people until after Christmas. If anything happened, my sister, we'll have to get an ambulance and bring her back in, and she'll be in hospital again.
Because you were on telling us about that before, isn't that right?
Yeah. Like, it's horrific. Damien, you were on the radio yesterday praising the new facilities. Now,
that's regarding the cancer stuff, yeah. And I saw your post on Facebook saying it's a shame and it's not right that everybody's not treated in the same way.
Exactly. We paid money for that. It's the public put that building there. And have we to go back out now and put a clinic in for the stoma? Have we to raise funds and get something up and running? I feel so strongly about it. My sister, I'm worried about her mental health. If anything happens, she have a lot to deal with. I mean, personally, I don't know, could I cope with it? She's 44. I don't know how she's coping with it at the moment. I really, really don't know. If I got a phone call in the morning to say that she was after doing something silly to herself, I'd say she was at peace. Because she's absolutely tortured. She had no night's sleep. Now, Mr. Peter McCullough said that she was a great patient. She was patient. She was a lovely person to deal with. She still has to come home. We have to look at her suffering. And all we had was a clinic every Tuesday, which relieved the pressure a little bit for us as a family.
Yeah.
Which she has 4 sisters, and we're up the walls over her. And that clinic and Mary McDonald helped her, and she was our friend, and she was the rung of the ladder that kept us all safe.
Kit,
yes.
When you hear Kathleen there talking about her sister, what have you got to say?
I feel very sad. I'm very sorry why I should even want to cry now, but I do. Because when you have that surgery, it's the most frightening thing. You have this thing attached to your body, and it takes you a while to get over it. I was extremely lucky in getting into that Stoma Care, and I've often been asked to counsel patients going for surgery here, even in Waterford, and see them afterwards to make sure they haven't got any problems. So I shouldn't have to do that. The Stoma Care nurse should be doing that, and there should be a Stoma Care nurse. We had 2 in St Mary's Paddington, and in St Vincent's I think they have 2 at least up there. I don't know how many in the other hospitals. Why is Waterford always on the back finger? I think that's the correct thing. But, why are they always left out of everything?
Kathleen, Kit is very upset here talking about it and thinking about what you have to go through and the upset it causes. You can understand exactly how she's feeling.
No one realises what the patient is going through. And as us for a family, we're going into Christmas with a sad Christmas again. Now, I'm well used to dealing with it. I've lost a brother to suicide. I've lost a sister to cancer. And this is what we are facing in for Christmas. And all we wanted was the clinic open that she could go to, and that we had some peace of mind if something happened to her between the Tuesdays, she'd be meeting Mary McDonald.
Am I to presume that she has a stoma, actually?
Yes, she has a stoma. She had an
ileostomy. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And like we were told, I suppose the thing, Kathleen, is that we were told 3 weeks ago, when you were on first raising this issue, that the Stoma Clinic was due to reopen.
Well, there you are, Damien. That's what they do to us here. They fill us up and then they leave us down with a bang again.
Yeah, so I you see, I can't.
I mean, why isn't it open? Sorry.
Yeah.
Why isn't it open?
Yes, because in my personal feeling, it's not open because we're Waterford.
Yeah, exactly. That's Waterford. The sunny south east.
And she was a lovely girl, Mary McDonald.
Oh, she's after being wonderful to us as a family and to my sister.
Yes.
And only for Mary McDonald. I don't know where we'd be, because we were thrown into this and we didn't know how to deal with it. And my biggest problem at the moment is that my sister holds her head.
Yeah, but what exactly is the problem that she has with the stoma at the moment?
She was very unlucky that the first stoma didn't work, so they had to move it and put it into the middle of her stomach, and it's retracting.
Oh, yes, yeah. So
she has no quality of life. They have... Mr. Peter McCullough have recognised that, and he will try and sort her out as soon as he can.
Yes, because there are appliances that Mary McDonald would have been able to give her to manage that stoma, Yes. And that's why we need somebody like that.
Yes. Now, my sister have no one to meet between this and the other side of Christmas.
I don't know if I'm allowed to offer my head. Where do you live?
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, Kathleen. I'll give you Kit's number now after this programme, okay?
Yeah.
And she can give you a ring and have a chat. And I think are you out in Portlaw, Kathleen, no?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. And maybe you can meet up before Christmas, just have a little chat. Kit's been very helpful here. Fair play to you, Kit. Thanks very much for offering that.
Thanks very much. And wishing you a happy Christmas.
And to you.
And, yeah, but it still doesn't get away from the fact that we don't know what the situation is. The clinic... And a person has texted in, as I said before, the clinic is a new thing. It was never open one nurse, whether that's in from a nurse or not, I'm not sure.
But Damien, there could be someone going for surgery tomorrow night, next week.
Yes.
Like, that's not going to stop it. It's gone very common. The stoma has gone very common. People are learning to live with it, but they need support. Mentally, they need support, and they need support to get to their clinics.
They do, yeah. It's
I mean, they have a wonderful new facility now, but isn't it a shame to say that you have to have cancer to get into that?
Kathleen, thanks very much. And listen, I'll give Kit your number if that's okay.
Okay, thanks. I'm wishing my sister Carolyn and Nikki a peaceful Christmas, and hopefully things will go right for them.
And we do. We wish them, for everybody here in WR, we wish them a very, very happy Christmas. Kathleen, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Kit, thanks very much for coming in to us. And I'll give you Kathleen's number there now. You can talk to Caroline. And listen, happy Christmas. I hope you're well yourself. And to everybody that's out there that is affected by this, I suppose get onto the hospital, see what the story is, and let us know as well on the programme here, because we can make a difference. There's a couple of times that we've made a difference with stuff like this, so we'd like to hear from you. 083 333 975. Kathleen Brennan, thanks very much. Happy Christmas to you.
And to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, welcome back to the programme. I am going to be talking to Bishop Alphonsus Cullinan in a second. Firstly, a couple of your texts. Our competition lines are closed now. I think we have a winner in Aglish in Cappoquin. We're trying to talk to that lady in a second.
Very good.
Nice part of the county, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Really lovely part. Now, in terms of some of the texts that were coming in, Maura texted in, Damien, the matter I wanted to raise was the lighting on the bridge. It's a gateway into Waterford. Many, many counties would love this. Maybe it's not up to the council to put lights on them. If it's not, thank you. There should be lights on the bridge, says Maura. It's a good point. It's one of the things we know about Christmas and the idea of, I suppose, a welcome and a light. And that light goes back, it has religious connotations in many, many respects, and people putting candles and lights in their windows, and the idea of the council. Now, I know they've got lights down on the quay, and there's lights in Dungarvan as well, being controversy about that. But the idea of lights coming on for Christmas has a very, very important matter for some people. Another person texting about a footpath down O'Connell Street to warn about that. We'll talk to the council about that. On the Stoma Clinic, there's a nurse working apparently on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. It's not enough, says this texter. Bishop, good morning.
Good morning, Damien, and good morning to all your listeners.
Happy Christmas.
And many happy returns. We're nearly there.
Nearly there. Advent.
Thank God. Yes, indeed. 2 weeks, imagine. Isn't
2
that
weeks.
Wonderful?
Yes. We're going to talk about priests over Christmas and services, and the possibility of services being curtailed. We've spoken about this before as well, and the parish, the diocese, the diocesan plan. How's it going for you?
Yes, it's going well. It's
Good.
going well. Thank God. There are some things done, but there's a load to do. But sure, look, that is what the plan is about. It's about tackling the issues that are before us.
Tell us about Christmas and tell us about the pressures on priests over Christmas.
Well, Damien, I met an 83-year-old priest yesterday, and he said, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, Christmas is a happy time in parishes. It's a wonderful time. And I think the vast majority of priests look forward to Christmas. Yes, it is a busy time. And priests always chuckle. And I, when I was parish priest and curate, always had to chuckle when people would say, this is your busy time, Father. And in actual fact, you can be busy right throughout the year. There's all sorts of things. But you have to put it in context too. We had Cardinal Brady down yesterday giving a talk to the priests out in Glencomer House with the wonderful Holy Family Mission out there as well. But anyway, the priests were there, and Cardinal just told us something that happened on the train on the way down, where he was sitting close to a mother who had a child who was obviously hyperactive, and he was up and down the train, the corridor, like a yo-yo. And he said he remembered some words of Pope Francis, that the first signs of holiness are patience, perseverance and humility. And he said this woman had it in spades, She didn't panic. And there's a woman with plenty on her mind. We've got to take this whole business of busy priests and overworked priests in context. There's so many people overworked, And I think the vast majority of priests, just talking about Christmas time, they look forward to it. It's a blessed time. It's a wonderful time.
How have things changed in recent years? We've read about pressures obviously on dioceses in terms of the numbers and the ageing population with priests retiring and not being replaced.
Sure.
Are we looking at any curtailment in services, or have you been able to maintain services?
Yes. Well, for the moment, yes. But part of the pastoral plan is very clear that we must sit down as priests and people and take and rationalise masses. That will happen. There is no doubt about that. That is going to be facing us.
And what does that mean?
It will mean there will be less masses. And that is not necessarily a bad thing, Damien, because, like, for example, in the city, there are dozens of masses every weekend. And that's within a small confine. But people are used to going to a certain mass, and that's wonderful. But, like, for example, if you want to get a 10 o'clock mass on a Sunday morning, or morning mass on Sunday morning, to take an example, why, you have 7 or 8 choices. That's not a bad position to be in. I don't want to minimise the difficulties that we're in, but at the same time, I don't want to maximise them and see them out of context. We have. So if masses are curtailed, cut down, it will mean that congregations will be, in fact, bigger coming to the masses, and therefore people get a greater sense of community and a greater sense of uplift that the church is now, which was, only partially full, is now maybe, almost full.
But it's very difficult, as you say, to get somebody to change their habits.
It is.
Somebody goes to a particular mass, has been going there for decades.
Of course. That is so true. That is so true. And that's a challenge which we all have to face. Change is difficult. But change is also part of life. And I welcome the opportunities that are there for us. The Lord is offering us new things. I mean, if you take, for example, a 22-year-old man came to me a few months ago, wants to be a priest. Out of the blue, phoned me up, and he has a degree from Oxford. I won't give you his name, but, and I say to myself, there's somebody who has heard the voice amid all the goings-on of life. And I see that so often. And, there are little miracles happening all over the place. Damien, people say to me, and there is truth in what they say, we've lost the spirit of Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas. But then if you stand back and you look, for example, you go around Waterford, and you see, what do you see around Christmas time? You see families getting together, friends getting together. You see people buying gifts, reaching out to the others, maybe haven't seen each other for a year. I have to laugh when I see the adults with the little kids in the train, and the adults sometimes seem a little bit embarrassed. But it's a beautiful moment. They're making wonderful family memories. And even though they may not pray much or go to Mass, they're doing it, in actual fact, because of the child of Bethlehem. All this goodness and the giving to charities, the Vincent de Paul and the Troker and Aid to the Church in Need and all these wonderful charities. People are reaching out at Christmas, and it's all because of the stable of Bethlehem and the child that was born there 2019 years ago. That's a wonderful thing that Jesus has given us, that we that all this goodness comes from him.
I know you'll be recording your Christmas message in a little while as well. We make sure to do that.
Thank you.
What happens, we're talking about the priests, and it's something I spoke to your diocesan spokesperson, Liam Powers,
Father Liam,
recently, and somebody just texted in. Again, in years to come, would you be in favour of married priests or priests coming in from abroad, or this whole thing arises out of the Amazonian Synod and issues such as that? And
yes, these are questions. Well, we have several priests from abroad, but then
what
again,
about the married priest things?
You see, but you see, is it really a solution? It sounds like a simple solution, but I don't actually think that it's the real solution to the question. The question is, what is a person's vocation in life? And to follow that, I'm living at the moment with 5 net ministers, you know, the netters, you might have heard of the national evangelization teams. 5 young people who are giving up a year of their lives to go on mission for the Lord. They don't want to be priests necessarily or nuns or anything like that. They're just discovering that Jesus is calling them to go out and talk to people about him, that he's alive and he's offering us hope and eternal life amidst all the problems of life. You know, I was just thinking recently, you know, that like all the urgent problems that we have right now this Christmas, but if you reel back, you know, we had the same problems a Christmas ago and 10 Christmases ago, and yet we've come through. So maybe God is saying to us in all this, you know, I have a bigger plan. The eternal plan is still unfolding, and he's not going to give up on humanity. He's not going to give up on us. He's not going to leave the priests, the church, without help, without enough ministers, and he's going to accompany people, no matter who they are, in their ordinary lives.
And that is a very big question of changing the changing ways of the way the church works. I know we can talk about history, and there were married priests in the past, but...
Well, that's another day's work.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
So it just means that, obviously, a lot of priests and bishops, those that are church leaders, will have to think about these things. And there's a lot of spiritual questions to be asked. As you say, it's not the end and the be-all that's going to solve. But it may lead, as you say, if a few of these net ministers wanted to get married, and you say, right, they're still very religious. They want to give their life to Christ.
Yes.
There may well be a compromise. Or is a compromise the wrong way of looking at it?
Yeah, I think so. It comes down to vocation. It comes down to you see, it comes down to what is God saying in all this? What is the Holy Spirit saying in all of this? You know, here in the Diocese of Waterford and Lismore now, we have, in the past number of years, 3 new religious congregations have moved in. We have the sisters, for example, in the Friary.
Yes.
And it's funny the way that worked, you know. I mean, the Franciscans were here, wonderful, wonderful men for almost 800 years, and such a link with the city. And, you know, I have to say, I might as well say it on air. I mean, the provincial met me on a particular day last year, and he said, it was last January, and he said, we're leaving. We're leaving, very reluctantly we're leaving. And I was shocked by it. But then I was able to tell him that there's a group of sisters flying into Ireland tomorrow morning, and maybe they could go to the Friary. And I mean, if that's not the hand of God, you know, it's God solving the problems in God's own way.
How has your year been?
It's been very good. It's been ups and downs, but sure, hey, that's life. That is
Any
life.
regrets? That the whole yoga thing, was that a bit of a regret, or?
No, I'm here to preach about Jesus Christ and to tell people about His love, and everyone listening in right now, you know, Jesus loves you now.
Bishop, happy Christmas.
And many happy returns.
And as
Thank you.
Up until all services, all religious services, all masses will go ahead as planned.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a full list of those in the newspapers.
Great.
And the very best of luck to you.
Thank you, Damien. And to everyone listening in, happy Advent and happy Christmas to you.
Hello, Angela.
Hello, Damien.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
What's the weather like in Aglish this morning?
It's absolutely beautiful. The sun is shining.
It's a beautiful part of the county and the country, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Aglish Walsh from Angela Walsh. Are you having a nice? Are you all set for Christmas?
I am indeed.
Are you?
All set, I am.
Oh my God. Fair play to you, fair play to you. Listen, congratulations. You are our winner of our Mulligan's Christmas Cracker competition today. Well done.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Not at all. We're going to ask you to pick a number now in a second. And this is all courtesy of Mulligan's Pharmacy. So you can get lots of different things in Mulligan's and all sorts of gifts and all sorts of lovely things. MulligansPharmacy.com, Mulligan's Pharmacy Blue Club. And they're there 60 years. So thanks to everybody for texting in. And you are our winner this morning. So up to now we've had numbers 4, 7, 8 and 9. So anything between 1 and 12 apart from 4, 7, 8 or 9, please. Angela? 2, number 2, okay. I'll write this down so I don't forget it for tomorrow. I click on the little thing here for the computer, and we have our Christmas cracker. There we go. And the prize is Benefit. Is there stuff in the chemist called Benefit? Is it beauty products? I think it is.
I don't know now, Damien, to be honest.
I think it is there, Angela. I think there's some lovely stuff called Benefit. So it's a Benefit gift pack. And what they'll do is we'll get Mulligan's, we'll get Audrey to give you a shout afterwards. So congratulations, a nice Mulligan's Benefit gift pack it's called. I think it's some of the products that are sold there within Mulligan's. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, Damien.
I don't know if it's face masks now or if it's perfume or whatever it is, but it'll be nice anyway. It's nice to get something for free, isn't it? Listen, anybody you want to say hello to?
Just all my family and friends.
Super. Angela, have a lovely Christmas to you and yours and everybody in Aglish.
Damien, and thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. God bless you. All the very best. Bye-bye. That's Angela Walsh there from Aglish. Now, I think we're trying to get Mary Butler on the line. We don't have her just yet, but we'll hopefully get her in a second, talking about the Stoma Clinic. We heard some very upsetting people on there a few minutes ago, and some of them in tears. Kit was crying on air about the Stoma Clinic. Mary Butler, Fianna Fáil TD, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Mary, we won't keep you too long. We had you on a few weeks ago, and I know you don't have too much information on this, but you had said to us that you were talking to hospital management and that the Stoma Clinic was going to be, I suppose, reopened before Christmas. And then we've heard from Kathleen and from Kit that it's only open a couple of mornings a week, so it's not really happening.
No, and it doesn't seem to be happening at the moment, but I was in between meetings, and when I came back into my office, I actually heard Kathleen and Kit on the radio, and I started to listen in. So I contacted Grace Rothwell again this morning by text. So as you know, Grace is the general manager of the hospital, and what she has said to me is a clinic, so one clinic will be held pre-Christmas, and then she's still working on the funding, on approval for funding to expand the service. Now, in the meantime, I have submitted a parliamentary question to the Minister to try and put some pressure on, because the situation currently is the reason why the clinic, I've been told, has been withdrawn, that they have only 0.6 of a whole-time equivalent post running the service, and she has made a submission to the group, and she has made a submission to the HSE to have it reinstated, and she has given me a guarantee that she categorically intends to have this reinstated.
Okay, yeah, and again, I don't doubt her bona fides or yours in telling us that it was going to be reopened, but I suppose it's a little bit of a downer, isn't it, where...
Oh, it absolutely.
You know, you came on air a few weeks ago and said, yeah, it's all been sorted, and now we're at the situation that it's not.
Well, no, I didn't actually say it was all being sorted. What I said was there was capacity issues, and that it was hoping to be reinstated before Christmas, and a submission had gone in for the funding. But look, at the end of the day, the most important thing, the patient has to come first. And I know Caroline very well, that Kathleen was speaking about, and I know the effect it's having on her not to have this clinic. And, you know, there's so many other Carolines out there who depend every week on this Stoma Clinic. And it's one of these things I'm going to fight tooth and nail for, to have it reinstated, because it's hugely important in somebody's life on a weekly basis to have that reassurance that when they need somebody to be there to help them out. Like, living to stoma bag must be difficult enough for somebody who doesn't understand it, but not to have the support in the hospital when you need it makes it 10 times worse.
It does, yeah. Listen, Mary, thanks very much. Happy Christmas to you and yours.
You too, Damien. Thanks a million. Bye-bye now.
Thank you very much, Mary Butler there, TD. We had a text in... Damien, fair play to those women talking about the stoma situation. Our son had, excuse me, urostomy, I think it's pronounced, when he was 5 months old. We had no knowledge of a stoma clinic. I think we eventually found out that there was one, but we were told there was no paediatric stoma clinic. We were really left to get on with it on our own. Thanks for highlighting this very, very important matter. I really agree that this should be highlighted as much as the cancer ward being opened, which is great news. But UHW is seriously lagging behind when it comes to certain care. In recent times, because Waterford has no nephrology department, we had to go to Crumlin for our son's care. It just makes me mad that Waterford just gets the scraps from the table. Let us know, please, your thoughts, your comments. 083 33 975. Also, any Christmas stories, Christmas party stories, again, text us in, or you can call Audrey on 051 846 123. Damien, I've been coming home from work in Dungarvan to Waterford every weekend for the past 7 years. I come through the motor mile on the Cork Road at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Not a Christmas light anywhere. I've always said that the money these car garages are making, could they not pitch together to get some lights up from garage to garage? As it's the main way to come to Waterford, it should be lit up with Christmas lights. That's from Barry in Waterford City. Barry, I think you're 100% right. Next we have a really lovely piece with Mike Fox. Now there's some more people texting in about stoma clinics and stuff like that. I'll come back to those. If not today, I'll do it tomorrow. Mike Fox, how's it going?
How's it going, Damien?
Great, thanks. Great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as
You've
well.
got your hat on. You're cool.
I have my hat
the person
on.
that wears a little hat inside, that's a sign of real cool, you know?
Yeah.
You're with the band CHIMPANBEE.
CHIMPANBEE, yeah.
You've launched a charity single in aid of Tinton Homeless Charity.
Yes.
We're going to play a little bit of Tokyo first. A lot of people would know your single Tokyo. Here we go. Tell us a little bit about CHIMPANBEE, Mike.
Okay, well, it's a long story to tell you about, but we started back in 2009, you know, and we were kind of signed to a label in Waterford, and it didn't work out, and the band broke up. And about 5 years later, we got back.
Classic breakup,
yeah,
was it?
We were close to finishing it, and it was
close to killing each other.
Yeah, exactly. We were 18, 19, and it was a bit too much, too serious at the time, and then we finished up, and we got back together about 5 years later, more something like that, and we released we finished the album, released it in 2018, and then and then shortly after we released it, our piano player Damien was killed, and that really just kind of set us back, obviously, and we haven't done a whole lot since but recording. So that's how this Christmas single came about, was kind of we were in the studio a lot, and it started as a joke, but it became something we actually then wanted to put out, and now we're putting it out, and what better way to do it than for charity, you know.
Why Tinton? Why the homeless charity?
Well, I think we knew we were going to do something for the homeless charity, you know. I'm always looking around and feeling really bad about it. I just think it's desperate, like, you know. So really wanted to help them, and then we were in contact with Buscage, you know, Ty Williams and stuff, and he was just like, you know, Tinton, they're great. Yeah. So we went down, we met them, and they showed us the facilities, and they showed us they introduced us to some of the people they work with out there, and yeah, we were just very impressed. Got goosebumps, you know. So we're like, yeah, happy days. We'll do it for them.
I know Ger is outside tuning up as we speak. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play some of this one's for me. Okay. I'm going to play this now as we go, and then we'll get Ger in when he's finished doing the tuning up.
Fair enough, yeah.
Ger Reid. So here is the Christmas track. It's called This One's For Me. We'll chat after this. It's available on iTunes, is it? Or
yeah,
where's it available?
It's available on iTunes, CD Baby, Deezer, Spotify. There's actually our video for it is going up live any minute now. So,
well, hey.
Yeah, so get onto our Facebook and like the page and follow us on Spotify and do all those things and
all
watch
that
the video.
jazz.
Yes, all that.
Okay, have a listen to this. This is lovely. Here we go. This one's from me, from CHIMPANBEE.
I've had a bad Christmas for 9 years running, and I think that I feel another one coming, cause a lot has changed, but none of it is me. I'm sick of faking happy, I'm tired of being pleasant, and I may die from the complexity of wrapping all the presents that are 10 times better than any I receive. I hear a heavenly voice, there must be joy, so now she's come to drive me out again. She shouts, the town is packed, it's hopping, and we finished all our shopping, so come on. Get your Rudolph jumper on, you never know, you might enjoy yourself, if not, try get kissed. I'm only going out because it's Christmas. Don't the music though. They're linking arms between the drinking barries on the table, singing Christmas tunes. The band's still playing too. He tries to pull me up, but he comes off of it and we laugh, destroyed and won. With the spirit alive, we become the night and try to finally let it flow. When 6 foot from the mistletoe, I drop the glove, she nearly chokes. Wait, is that the post? Won't see another one I really love. This one, you know.
You're singing along there, Jerry Reid. How's it going?
Terrible. Very good, thank you, Damien.
You couldn't get that old thing tuned up with somebody else.
No, he never gave me the old tune, or so he didn't. And I play everything in strange half step down. So, I mean, I'd be there all day trying to do it myself.
You play, tell us, half step down. What does that mean?
It means that rather than, so when most players will play what we call standard tuning, so when my E would actually be a D flat.
Wow. So you literally,
D sharp, an E flat.
Your voice would literally raise at certain levels.
Yeah, well, no, it suits my voice better singing these songs for where I want to do. I do a lot of shouting in the set for anyone that's seen us, they know. And in order for me to do that, I need to be a half step down to stay somewhere in key.
What's he like to perform with? Is he good? Is he handy? Is he nice?
Yeah, he's intense. And he's
intense. Yeah, I like that.
I'm energetic. It looks like my head's going to explode.
Yeah, his heart is really in it, like.
Yeah,
and very intense and loud.
Yeah,
which is what we want. That's what we like.
Why did you go with that style of a Christmas song?
It actually just happened quite naturally. Like for me, I loved, like Wizard, Slade, all the, what is it, Run Run Rudolph and all that stuff.
Oh, I love that one, yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of tip my cap to them kind of songs. And when I sat down and picked, like when I actually started writing what became that song, I didn't write that as the Christmas song. I just had this piece on guitar that I wrote, and it had that kind of bluesy feel to it. And once I started putting lyrics to it, the very opening kind of verse of the song, I just sang that over it one day, and I was like, right, that works. This is it, and it just went from there. And it stopped becoming a joke really quickly by the time I had all the lyrics wrote, and I had that middle verse with Father Ted and Only Fools and Horses. I was like, that's really good. There was
a lot of production value added on it. We put all the bells and whistles and, added all the cheese in the studio.
I did feel that we'd captured a generation in that line, that like Fools and Horses at Christmas and Father Ted. And then I was like, okay, this is actually a good song. Now, you wouldn't say it was our modern style of the rest of the songs we're writing. It's completely on its own. But it's a Christmas song. We're allowed to do that, we're allowed to have fun.
Exactly.
And I think with the last 17 months that we had, that was what we wanted to come back with. Something just fun, light-hearted, that we enjoyed doing, and that we could also use to help out and give back, and as a charitable song,
You can get all the details on your Facebook page.
Facebook, Instagram, Spotify are the main ones we'd like people to go to. But if you go to Facebook, our video is going to be live any minute now.
No,
and really fun.
Being honest, it's downloading the track. It's great if you're
download the track.
Great if you're streaming it, but if you can download it as well, that money will go direct to us, and we can give it direct to the Tintown Housing Association. Whereas with Spotify, it's every play. It isn't. It's not a lot of money, and it takes a lot to build up, and it takes some time to get it, Okay,
so download.
Yeah, it takes a minute. It's only $150.
Yeah.
It's not.
Or just throw the money in Busgate buckets. I mean, it's we don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But if you're gonna throw €150 or €2 into a bucket, why not get a song as well? Why not?
Right, we've run up against time, lads. Thanks very much, Ger.
Thanks, Damien.
Thanks very much, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks very much for coming in. Let's play a little bit more of this as we play out. Before I go, I want to thank Maria for producing. Thank you very much. Jeff is up next, the great Jeff Harris. Thanks, everybody, for all your texting this morning. Damien, you're getting a lot of stuff done in one show. Thanks very much. Damien, CHIMPANBEE are brilliant. Lovely to see what they're doing, especially helping the homeless.
Thank you.
Lads, happy Christmas to you and yours. We're going to play out on this. This one's from Me by CHIMPANBEE.